Hi, this is Cindy again, and I'm here for Monday Musings. And most of you know that I really love to work with alcohol inks. I've worked with them a lot. So this is what I'm going to do again today. And this is a box that I got. It's just a little metal tin. You could use one that you got with cookies or anything else. And I think I got it on sale somewhere. Maybe, yeah, I think I got it on Michael's clearance. But what I'm doing is I want to make something that one of my good friends has recommended to me. It's called a God Box. Now you can make this whatever you want to make it, but for me this is where I'm going to put some things in that mean something to me, but I have an issue with or have been hurt about, and I'm going to put those things in here and leave them in there, because I'm leaving them to God. And every day, whatever my problem is or whatever is bothering me that day, I'm going to write it down and I'm going to put it in this box and I'm going to give it to God. Now, like I said, you can make your box mean anything you want it to mean, but that's what my box is going to be. So what I've done is I started to color the outside of my box with alcohol inks, and I'm using willow and hazelnut and mountain rose, and they're coming out kind of pretty, but I also kind of think it's maybe just a little bit kind of blah, so I think I want to add a little more drama to it. So let's add a darker green. Let's go with oregano, and maybe, let's see, let's try a brighter red. Let's go with red pepper. Let's try red pepper and oregano, and I'm going to put it, I'm experimenting, I'm going to go ahead and put it on this same felt piece that I had the other colors on, because I'm going to go right over top of it, and so I want to make it gel together. I don't want it to be two colors that don't relate to each other, so by putting it on this same felt thing, we're going to get those other colors into it too. Okay, so let's pounce, and that is coming out to be a lot more seeable, a lot more dramatic. Okay, so then, you know, I'm gonna continue this all around the edge, all of the edges. Not sure really how well this is coming up in the camera. It's kind of an odd shaped thing. Okay, so that's two of those sides, and I'm going to go ahead and put this aside for now and work on the top, okay? Because I know you can see that easier. Okay, I'm going to go back and put some more of my mountain rose on there, and the willow, and the hazelnut. And I would like to also put a metallic on. Let's go with gold this time. You know, you need to shake your metallics. Cap was kind of stuck. Okay, let's put some of that on, and let's pounce and see what we get. Now, I usually like cooler colors, and this is quite a warm look on here, so that's a little bit out of my comfort zone. Noisy, huh? Now, there are also a lot of recessed areas on here that I'm going to have to go and get my felt into, and I may just switch over to a type of a sponge or something to get all these edges like this covered with the alcohol ink. The nice thing about using alcohol ink on this metal is that there's no preparation because it is for non-porous surfaces. So I don't need any tooth, I don't have to put any gesso on, I don't have to put any sealer on. I just choose my colors and get started. Okay. Now, when this dries, I would like to do the same thing that I've done for my alcohol tiles, and that is put a stamp on and either clear emboss over it, or maybe use black embossing powder to make sure it shows up. Okay, there we go. And that way it wouldn't get lost in all this multicolor. Okay, I think I pretty well got that covered. And let's see what, maybe a little splashing of the blending solution on. I'm just going to shake it over there, shake it over like that, or like a random pattern. And then we get some action. I don't know if I like that or not. I think I'll go ahead and pounce some of it. Manipulate a little bit of it. Put a little stuff back on my pad. Let's go with the darker colors this time. You just keep playing until you get something you like. And I've still got action happening because the blending solution is still on my surface. Okay, I think I'm beginning to like that. Alright, and yes, I will have to go in and fill around these edges. So I'm going to let this dry for a second and come back with a stamp. Okay, this is a stamp that a friend of mine has, and I'm going to try and get it in the shop. And the big part of it is hope, and then there's a beautiful Bible verse. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future. Jeremiah 29:11. Now, as I said a couple of times, if a God box and scripture is not your thing, then you can make this into anything you want it to be. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear around this sentiment. Get too close there. Okay, because I want some rough edges. And then I'm going to take some distress ink, and I'm going to go around the edges, and I'm going to use tea dye. It seems to be my go-to brown ink. Okay, and I want to get an applicator here. Oh, got one. Use my little foam pad that has brown inks on it. Okay, whoops. Okay, so let's ink that up. Well, my goodness. Now, that could be because I have a felt pad there. Okay. And I'm going to start off of the piece of paper and ink the edges to give it an antique look. And I'm kind of going into the center, but I'm doing that with a lot lighter touch because I want all to be antique looking, but I don't want it to, I want there to be a highlight in the center. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and use some gathered twigs, trying to find that, around the edge to make the edge just a little darker as well. And I'm not going into the center at all there, I'm just going on that torn edge for a little extra dark dimension. Okay? Alright. Now I want to emboss over top of that. I want to clear emboss over top of it to give it some strength and a finish. Had a hard time finding my little tray. Okay. So let's go ahead and cover. Use my Distress Ink embossing pad. Make sure I cover it nice and juicy. I tell you what, I think my embossing pad's starting to get a little dry. I'm going to have to get some re-inker, so I'm going to really press down on this. Make sure I get good coverage. Okay. And then pour the clear over top. And emboss. That gives that a real nice finish, and it kind of accentuates the words. And also I seem to have a little bit of some kind of black grains. Maybe some of my black got mixed up in with it, and you can see that on there, but you know, I'm okay with that because it makes it look even more excuse me, it makes it look even more aged. So I'm going to take this, and I also found this stamp that I got on a clearance sale, and it is an old Stampers Anonymous stamp. How about that? And I'm going to ink it up with black, but I don't want to use sorry, don't want to use the Distress Ink. I want to use a permanent, so I'm going to get my StazOn black out. Alright, Here we are. And I'm going to ink this up. This is just going to be kind of a background. So if I don't get it really dark, then I'm okay with that. And once I put it over this mottled background, it's going to kind of fade into the back anyway. And it's easier to just take my lid and place it over top of the stamp and press down. Okay, now I hope you can see that. It's just a nice background. And it just gives another little bit of interest. And trying to decide if I want to emboss over this whole thing or not. And I think I'd like to do that. So I'm going to once again ink up with embossing ink. This is a very noisy project. I'm going to go ahead and pour embossing powder on there right from my tray, and pour some more on. Tip it up and tap it off. And then I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing on this end. And I think I'm going to go ahead and pour some more on there just to make sure I have some good coverage. Alright, now let's emboss. It didn't take too awful long. Now be careful because the tin will be hot. And I like the kind of mottled effect, or the, you know, it's an uneven finish, and I kind of like that. It's a lot of texture. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's a lot of nice texture. And if you want smooth and glassy, then you can repeat the process. But I like this texture, and I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to go ahead now, let that dry, and I'm going to put some glossy accents on the back of my sentiment, my verse, because I want to make sure that it sticks and sticks well. Because I'm going to be, you know, this box will be stored, but it'll also be used, and I want to just make sure that everything sticks on there well. So I'm using glossy accents. And I'm going to put this down and offset it in this corner. I am a big fan of asymmetrical. You almost never see me put something in the center. So I'm going to do it this way. Hold it down, give it a chance for the glossy accents to get a, you know, to grab a hold. little bit of it's kind of squeezing out, and that's okay. I'm just using it to cover the edges. Okay. And there's my project. It's a little simple, but it's kind of clean lines, and it's good for the purpose that I want it for. Could decorate it some more, and I may, but I think probably I'm going to leave it as it is. So thanks for making the project with me today, and have a good week.